Hi guys, you have to hand it to people like Lou Calvey, the refugee and asylum specialist, who have more patience than I do with right-wing commentators on the likes of Talk TV. Lou debunked the idea that everyone in the world wants to come to Britain and claim asylum. She also explained in simple terms to the host why the asylum system is broken, which has resulted in both people risking their lives to cross the channel, but also sitting in limbo for months, if not years. Now, I don't know if these hosts are ignorant or they've just been given a script. Take it away, Lou.
But I don't understand why we have to take all of the people of the world, why there doesn't have to be any restriction, why there doesn't have to be any... I'm not saying you're necessarily arguing for this, but there are people who argue that we should take anyone who wants to come here. The levels of migration are factually far too high for this country. We've accepted lots of asylum seekers and refugees. If you make an asylum claim in this country, you have more than a 70% chance of that asylum claim being accepted.
Anymore you don't, because the asylum system is closed, Peter. They closed it. The Tory government closed the asylum system effectively, de facto. The UNHCR has described it as an asylum ban in the UK. So the asylum system's not even open anymore. We have got a raft of anti-refugee legislation and policies in this country, and what it has delivered is higher deaths at our border, more chaos in our asylum system at huge cost to our taxpayer, and it is breeding a massive catastrophe in human slavery and exploitation within the UK, with people having to leave the asylum system because they're not getting status. That is the reality of the situation. No one is saying that the UK should be taking everyone. What we are saying is there should be visa access for people that have good reason for needing to be in the UK, which are a minority of people. And constantly there's this wave of, well, we can't take everyone. Why can't they stay in France? They do stay in France. We're not saying we want to take everyone. We're saying that there are good reasons for a few people to need to be here, and we need to provide them with safe access.
It's not a few people, though, is it?
It is a few. Contextually, it is a very few people. As I've said to you, historically, we've taken less than 1% of the world's refugees. It is a very few people contextually. And we just need to grow up and get a grip. You cannot keep everyone out of the UK. And by trying to do so, you are creating an irregular migration problem because you won't give them visa access. If you want border control, then people have to have safe access to that border control. Otherwise, you will drive an irregular migration crisis, which is what this government is doing.
Exactly. That's exactly what the government is doing. They're not interested in processing claims, it seems. Robert Jenrick himself, former immigration minister, said, well, if we actually process the claims, this will create a pull factor. So there is a political decision not to process the claims, not to actually deal with this issue. Now, I think what the Tories are doing at the moment is making the situation worse because they know that they will not be dealing with it in a year's time. So hand it over to a future Labour government and then snipe from the sidelines saying you're not bringing down the numbers, you're not dealing with immigration. There was talk that Keir Starmer may create safe routes. Now that has also been knocked on the head, but some of the rhetoric from the right wing was that he's going to create safe routes and this will stop the boats, but it will create another problem. Well, you know, these are the same people who say we need to stop the deaths in the Channel. Well, if you create a safe route, you'll stop the deaths in the Channel. So their concern is not really about people losing their lives. It's more about just bringing down numbers. But if we look at what's happened over the last number of years, you know, you had Brexit, which was supposed to bring down immigration. Immigration went up post-Brexit. Then you had the government saying, what we're going to do is we're going to move people out of hotels into army barracks and stuff like that, into the Bibi Stockholm. That didn't work. So they try something, it doesn't work. They try something else, it doesn't work. Instead of actually creating safe routes, instead of processing the claims so people can move into refugee status. And as Lou said here, which is really concerning, the asylum system is closed. The Tories are not processing more claims or not moving people out of refugees into refugee status from asylum status. Now, I want to get back to the reporting here as well, because I think this is really interesting. It's really bad reporting. Peter Cardwell asked Lou about a position that she doesn't hold. You know, the idea that everyone should be free to come into Britain. Lou wasn't mentioning anything like that. She's talking about how, you know, Britain has an obligation, and it's a small percentage of the total number of refugees in the world, 1%, something like that. And it's a straw man argument being presented by the right wing. This idea that those on the left want open borders. You hear it all the time, which is ironic because I think the host here is a Brexiteer. He doesn't complain very much about the open border with France, where you see all sorts of dodgy food and diseases coming in post-Brexit. And he also said that migration is too high. But what data does he have to back up that claim? Economic migration rises and falls according to the availability of work. So if there are more jobs available, you're going to see more economic migrants. If there are fewer jobs available, you're going to see fewer economic migrants. That's how things work. People are not going to come to the country if there are no jobs available. And because of Brexit, and we saw the departure of many European workers, those vacancies have increased. So there are, of course, people going to come to the country because they're being told in their home countries there are opportunities in the United Kingdom, or they have friends, family in the United Kingdom who are saying, look, there are jobs available. You can improve your lot if you come here. It's important that these things are talked about, but it's important that there are people like Lou who actually educate the public, even if it is on Talk TV. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.